Hola a todos, soy Mike. Bienvenidos a la guía definitiva para aprender a conjugar el verbo asustar en español. Hi everybody, this is Mike. Welcome to the ultimate guide to learning how to conjugate the verb asustar in Spanish. The verb for today is asustar, or dar miedo. And remember, we're learning verbs that we use in Spanish with the indirect object pronoun. Of course, I can use the verb asustar as just a regular verb, and if so, then I would have to learn all of the conjugation forms for each one of the tenses and depending on the pronoun. I can say yo asusto, tú asustas, él asusta, nosotros asustamos, ustedes asustan, ellos asustan for the simple present. Or yo asusté, tú asustaste for the simple past, and so on, so on, so. But in this video, in this series of videos, we're learning the verb conjugation for the verbs when we use the verbs with the indirect object pronoun. In this case, me asustan, te asusta. That is the form. And when we talk about the verb asustar, it's pretty much like when we say to be scared by. So I have these three different sentences. I am scared by darkness, which is pretty much the same as darkness scares me, right? Or darkness gives me the creeps. In Spanish, we say me asusta la oscuridad or me da miedo la oscuridad. Asustar o dar miedo, right? Let's think about the verb asustar. Because me dar miedo is basically the conjugation of the verb to give, which is dar. This is just for you to understand what's the meaning of the verb. What do we mean by asustar when we use this form, right? So remember, with these kind of verbs, we use the indirect of the pronouns, meaning that at this point, if you have watched all of these videos in this series, most likely you already know this, but don't worry. Every video we're gonna go and review this information because it's interesting and important. In a subject verb object structure, we use the personal pronoun or any subject. In this case, instead of the personal pronoun, we're going to use the indirect object pronoun. And for each one of the pronouns, we have a corresponding indirect object pronoun, which is the first words that we have here, these ones. So we have for I, we have me. For you as tú, singular and formal close relationships, tú, we have te. For he, she, it, and you, singular formal, which is usted, we have le. For we have nos. For you, plural, which is ustedes, or they, we have les. Meaning that if I'm going to say ustedes, I don't say ustedes, but I say les. We'll see that in some examples later. And a lot of times in Spanish, we add these two words to the corresponding indirect object pronoun just in order to give emphasis to the action. Most likely, not necessarily. So I can say a mí me, or I just say me with the verb. In this case of the verb for today's video, me asusta or a mí me asusta is the same. You can say that you use the full form in order to give emphasis, but it's pretty much the same. It's pretty much the same. So there's another thing, and it is that when we use the verb with the indirect object pronoun, the verb conjugation is going to be the same for all of the indirect object pronouns in each one of the tenses. So if we have these tenses, let me move my face from here. If we have simple present and the object that scares me is singular, I use this table for me asusta. If the simple past, we use me asustó or me asustaba. Simple future, me asustará. Present perfect, me ha asustado. Going to form, me va a asustar. Present continuous, me está asustando. Past continuous, me estuvo or me estaba asustando, and so on. If you want, you can screen capture this. If you want, you don't have to. But if you want, you can screen capture this as a guide for the verb conjugation. And we would have the singular and the plural conjugation form. Meaning that if the thing that scares me is not one, but two or more, Then I say me asustan for the simple present. And this conjugation is the same for all of the different indirect object pronouns. Once again, if you want to screen capture, go ahead. Don't worry, because now we're going to do some examples. And for doing that, we have this. Let me change this to singular. Okay, so we have the singular conjugation table for all of the tenses. And on the top right, we have the indirect object pronoun, the full form, but we can use a mí me or just me, a ti te or just te, and so and so. So the sentence is this: darkness scares me. One thing that scares me. So me asusta la oscuridad or la oscuridad me asusta. This would be la oscuridad me asusta, right? But let's change this. Let's place it more like object verb, subject verb object. So in this case, we would have a mí me asusta la oscuridad, or just me asusta la oscuridad. I do apologize for if we have some background noises with some barking noise and stuff, but it seems there are some barking dogs here in the neighborhood. So we have simple present tense. A mí me asusta la oscuridad. This is simple present tense. I'm scared by darkness, right? Darkness scares me. A mí me asusta la oscuridad. If it's not me, but you, as tú, it would be a ti te asusta. If it would be you as usted, it would be a usted le asusta. You see what I'm doing? I'm changing this depending on the subject. Well, this is not really the subject, but the object. But you know what I mean, because the sentence in Spanish goes like this. And the conjugation is the same for simple present. If it would be scares him, a él le asusta. Scares her, a ella. Scares us, a nosotros. Nos. And scares them, a ellos. Les asusta. So we have same verb conjugation and different indirect object pronouns based on the sentence for simple present tense. How about darkness will scare them? Future. A ellos les asustará. We just changed the conjugation. Or the simple past. Darkness scared them. A ellos les asustó la oscuridad. Or a ellos les asustaba. Remember, we have two different ways of using the simple past in Spanish. Darkness has scared them. A ellos les ha asustado la oscuridad. Same thing. For all of the conjugation, darkness is scaring them. A ellos les está asustando la oscuridad. So as you can see, we can use all of the conjugation forms. We use the indirect object pronoun according to whatever we need. Either the full form or just the indirect object pronoun. It doesn't matter. We can use both. And this is for a single object that scares us. In this case would be darkness is one thing. So we use the singular conjugation. But how about if we're scared not but by just one thing, but several things? So instead of that, we use spiders scares me. Spiders scare me. There are several things that scare me. In this case, we use the plural conjugation. Las arañas me asustan. Same thing, spider scares you. Las arañas te asustan. Or a ti te asustan Las arañas. This is another thing that makes Spanish a complex language to learn. And as you can see, we can either say a ti te asustan las arañas, or we can say las arañas te asustan a ti. And this is simple present. I can say spiders scared you. A ti te asustaron las arañas, o a ti te asustaban las arañas. If spiders scared me. If, see, a me, because this is me, scared me, see, a me, me, and this is the past subjunctive mood. Si a mí me asustaran las arañas, if spiders scared me, you see, it's the same. I'm just changing the conjugation based on the tense that I want to use. And it's now it looks fairly easy because I use the indirect object pronoun accordingly, right? I use the verb conjugation depending on the tense. That's it. That's it. Spiders would scare me. A mí me asustarían las arañas. You see? A mí me asustarían las arañas. And that's the way it works in Spanish, right? So we have indirect object pronouns depending on the subject. And this is the way we use this verb asustar or dar miedo. A mí me darían miedo. That's another conjugation, but let's focus on asustar. Asustar. And that's the conjugation form. So your homework, your assignment, your mission is first, remember, to read, try and find texts, and try and identify these forms. If you can find this verb, it would be great. If not, at least verbs that are used with the indirect object pronoun in Spanish. Try and find the verbs. Identify those and say, oh yeah, see, this is the way it conjugates like that. Oh yeah, it makes sense. Then go ahead and raise the bar a little bit, a few notches, and then go ahead and listen to radio, news, podcasts, music, watch movies, series, TV shows in Spanish, and try and identify that. And third, increase the bar, raise the bar a few notches more, and then start speaking, saying this, using the conjugation forms. Remember, repetition, association, exposure. Those are the three keys that you can use anytime. Way better if you do that on a daily basis in order to improve with language. It's a matter of practicing. So go ahead and find these verbs and start working on them. Okay, so that was it. I hope this is not going to be confusing. It's pretty much easy. I hope you're going to study and practice a lot. This is a matter of practicing. Practice makes perfect. So make sure you're going to check the whole video to do your own exercises, to build your sentences, to start using this verb as soon as you can. And the more that you use it, the more that you're going to understand its use and how to conjugate the verb in the different forms. So if you have questions, check the video as many times as you need. And if you still have questions, leave a comment. I'll try to reply as soon as possible. If you like this video, remember, you know what to do. Please share with your friends, groups, social media. And if you haven't yet, please subscribe to the channel. Click the bell button in order to get notifications because we're posting videos on a weekly basis. And that's going to help us also to grow as a channel. So I really appreciate you for watching the whole video and looking forward to bringing more videos like this. So See you later. Study much. Estudien mucho, aprendan mucho, sigan practicando y nos vemos en un próximo video. Bye.